Welcome back, Odooers. I don't know about you, but a survey just isn't a survey without questions. And when those questions are neatly organized into specific sections, well, that just takes the entire survey experience to the next level. In this video, I'm going to teach you all about the different question types and options available in Odoo Surveys and how to organize them into sections. So enough chit chat, let's dive into our database and start creating surveys and sections using the Odoo Surveys application. Come on! Let's kick things off on an appraisal survey I'm working on for my employees. Now, in order to add a question to a survey, you'll obviously want to be in the Questions tab, and let's go ahead and click Add a Question at the bottom. When you do, a pop up form appears where you can create and customize the question to your liking. On this pop up, you'll notice a question field, a question type field with a ton of options, and three tabs: Answers, Description, and Options. It should be noted that the options available in these tabs, and even the tabs themselves, may differ or disappear completely depending on the question type selected. For example, if a question type provides answer options to the participant, the Answers tab is available. But if a custom response is required to answer a question type, like if we select the multiple lines text box, or anything related to a number like numerical value or date, the Answers tab will disappear completely. But for now, let's go ahead and select the multiple choice only one answer. Other question-specific variations are also present under the Options tab, which we'll get to in a minute. It should also be noted that regardless of the question type, if we open the Description tab, this will always be available and will always be the same. So be sure to take advantage of that tab if you feel like a detailed description of the question is necessary to help with the participant and provide the answer that you're looking for. But for now, let's click back into the Answers tab. Okay, let's go ahead and redirect our attention to the top of the form again and enter in a question. How about we type in, "Am I a good manager?" After we type our question, it's time to determine which question type is most suitable. Fortunately, a sample of each type is shown on the right so we can better visualize how it appears to our participants. First of all, we have the default multiple choice one answer, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then we have the multiple choice, multiple answers allowed, which allow participants to choose more than one of the provided answer options. Next, we have the multiple lines text box, which lets participants type in multi-line response to the question without restricting them to any predetermined answer options. The single line text box is basically the same, but if we click back to the Answers tab, you'll see that a response with this type should be short, like an email, username, or something like that. You'll even see options for those kind of responses in the Answers tab over here. The numerical value type is meant for questions that require a numerical answer, and the date and date time are very similar, but the date time looks for a specific time in addition to a specific date for a response. Finally, we have the matrix type, and when we click back to the Answers tab, you'll see that Odoo provides choices and rows as answer options for the participants. This question type is useful for questions that request a series of responses and or rankings from participants. For example, if the question was something like, "How do you feel about different parts of a zoo?" The choice options could be like, dislike, and love, and the row options could be something like the lions, the reptiles, and so on. But for this video, let's go ahead and reselect the multiple choice only one answer option. All right, so with our question and question type selected, let's go ahead and focus on the Answers tab. To add answer options for this question type, we can click Add a line under Choices. Then we can proceed to type in our answer options, so let's type in yes as our first one. You'll also notice that we have the option to upload an image to accompany the answer options as well if needed. Once you have the answer option entered, you can press enter to lock in that option and instantly add another one. So let's type in no for our second one. And you can just keep that going until all the desired answer options are entered. Let's go ahead and click enter and type in sometimes as the third option. And let's click away. You can modify or delete these answer options at any time. And then when you're ready, you can either click Save and Close to save the question and return to the survey form, or Save and New to save the question and immediately create a new question with a blank new pop-up form. Or if you want, you can go ahead and bail your question entirely by clicking Discard. But before we move on to any of those, we still have a couple more things to cover. So we already know that the description tab is the same no matter what, so let's go ahead and jump into the options tab. Now, as I alluded to before, the options available in the Options tab, specifically the Answer section over here, change depending on the selected question type. The Conditional Display, Constraints, and Live Session sections all stay the same no matter what, so let's go ahead and take a look at those first. In the Conditional Display section, we have the option to select triggering answers from a previous question in the survey that would trigger this question. So, if the participant selects specific triggering answers, this question would be the very next question they would see solely based on the triggering answer the participant entered. More than one triggering answer can be selected as the conditional display for one question. Directly below, we have the Live Sessions section, and we have the ability to tick this checkbox to add a question time limit in seconds, if this particular question is part of a live session survey. But for now, let's untick that checkbox for the question time limit. And in the Constraints section, you can choose to make this question mandatory for the participant to answer by ticking this checkbox next to the mandatory answer. If you do, another field appears in which a custom error message can be entered and shown to the participant, informing that this question must be answered. For example, we could type, "You must answer this question" in the error message field. Now, that brings us back to the ever-changing answers section. For the multiple choice question types, the options in the answers section are the same. You can choose to show comments field with the answer options, and when that box is ticked, two other fields appear: comment message and comment is an answer. This comes in handy if one of the multiple choice answer options is open-ended, like other or something like that. Then the comment message can be something like, "If other, please specify," and the participant would fill in their custom answer in the provided field. You can also choose to designate whether or not you'd like to accept that comment as a valid answer by ticking the checkbox for "comment is an answer" over here. If the matrix question type is selected, those options are still present in the answer section along with a matrix type field. If we click the matrix type drop-down menu, I can choose to have the participant enter one choice per row or multiple choices per row. If the multiple lines text box is selected, the answer section reveals a single placeholder field, in which some custom text can be entered to guide the participants toward the right response by letting them know what they're expected to write. If the single line text box is selected, an additional validate entry field appears above the placeholder field. Let's go ahead and select it. And when that box is ticked, two additional fields appear in which min-max limits can be configured, along with a custom validation error message that would appear if the participant's answer is not valid. Those same options are present for the numerical value, date, and date-time questions as well. But we're going to go ahead and reselect our original multiple choice only one answer question type and click Save and Close. And that's how you create and customize a question for a survey. Back on our survey form, we'll find a new question at the bottom of the list. And we can click on these 6 dots to the left of any question to drag and drop them to anywhere we want in the survey. For example, I'll click these dots next to our newly created question and move it around, but let's go ahead and place it at the end of the survey where it was. And if we want to add another section, all we have to do is click Add a Section and type in our section name, like Manager Assessment. And let's click away and drag it above our question that we created. Also, if we want to delete any questions or sections, we simply have to click on the trash icon here on the right. And if we ever want to duplicate a question or section, we'd click on this duplicate icon. And with the questions and sections in place, we can open the Options tab on the main survey form. And let's go ahead and select Randomized per section option in the question section field. Then let's go ahead and hop back into the Questions tab, where we'll find a new number of questions randomly picked column. Then on the section lines under the column, we can choose how many questions in that particular section should be randomly selected for participants taking the survey. For instance, let's change 1 from general information and change it to 3. That way, every survey has a unique look and feel to it. Pretty cool, right? And that's it, Odooers. That's how easy it is to add and customize questions and sections using Odoo Surveys. Stay tuned for more survey related goodness. I'll see you later, survey taker.